Hello everybody, and welcome to the next installment in our series of interviews in the lead up to ESF Europe 2022, the European Energy and Sustainability Forum, which will be held in Berlin this month from the 21st to the 23rd of March. My name is Stefan Chapman. I am the Vice President at Euro Petroleum Consultants. We are an independent consultancy active in the energy sector, oil, gas and petrochemicals. We are also the organisers of ESF Europe, which is an event dedicated to downstream decarbonisation and sustainability. Today, I'm very honoured to be joined by Mr. Stephen Fowler. Stephen is the Vice President of Chemicals, Downstream Process and Biotechnologies at Shell. And at ESF Europe, Stephen will be one of our distinguished panelists on our Circularity panel, giving new life to plastic waste. Before we start, a couple key facts and numbers with regards to Shell, a global energy company with around 87,000 employees working in more than 70 countries, all working together to power progress through more and cleaner energy solutions. Stephen, a warm welcome to you. Big thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come talk with us today. Much appreciated. I hope you and everyone at Shell are doing well.
Thank you, Stefan. Great to have the opportunity to chat today.
Thank you very much. If we look at our industry, let's dive in straight away. If we look at our industry today, I think without doubt there is a clear focus, a clear drive towards decarbonisation. With this in mind, I'd like to ask you if you could tell us more about the role Shell's high-value energy and chemical parks will play in achieving a net zero future.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, at its core, the energy and chemical parks will play a role in helping us meet the changing needs of our customers. Yeah, our customers are at the heart of our strategy. It's no longer enough for an energy company to start with a commodity and end up simply by supplying it. So at Shell, we must begin with the customer, what they want and what they need. And yeah, more than 90% of the emissions from Shell come from the end use of our products, it's even more important that we have this customer-backed perspective. So we'll work with our customers sector by sector to achieve net zero emissions, whilst of course at the same time working to lower our own emissions in the production of fuels, chemicals and differentiated products. And this is where our integrated energy and chemical parks give us an opportunity. Yeah? Our highly integrated energy and chemical parks are strategically located. Yeah, we have the opportunity to leverage the existing infrastructure and systems to build effective and integrated platforms in both bio, circular and CCS. And then these platforms support the low carbon energy products and solutions that our customers need to achieve net zero emissions. And working together, these platforms will give us the flexibility to meet customer demands in different sectors such as automotive, aviation or shipping. And another important factor is through our energy and chemical parks, we can create anchor volumes which allow us to invest ahead of the curve. And as market demand for products and services such as hydrogen, bio and CCS grows, we will be able to meet those. So maybe just give you an example of that. So at Rhineland last July, together with our partners, we started up a 10 megawatt PEM electrolyzer. We're initially using this green hydrogen for desulfurization to make low carbon fuels. But as the market emerges, we can shift to sell it as hydrogen into mobility, for example. And we already have sort of pre-final investment decision plans to expand the capacity to 100 megawatts.
Great to hear so many incredible developments and also initiatives which should help us get to net zero future. So that's great to hear. And you mentioned, also circularity, and I think it's been identified as one of the big challenges ahead of us. And I think by 2025, Shell will aim to use about 1 million tons a year of plastic waste in its chemical facilities. Whereas today, we know that around only 8%, I think, of the actual economy is circular. So there is a big innovation challenge for the whole industry, the industry as a whole, to make these technologies scalable and more affordable. In your opinion, what are the opportunities for circularity to help scale and close the loop as such?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, there are a number of things that we need to work in parallel in this area. And I think the first and maybe perhaps the most important is getting chemical recycling in Europe recognized as a viable and valuable part of the plastic circular economy. I mean, Shell, like many other companies, is investing, innovating, and collaborating throughout the plastic waste value chain to help drive the long-term growth of this this part of the industry. And I think it's important that it's recognised as both viable and valuable. And to that end, last year we invested in Blue Alp, and together we're working to develop, scale and deploy Blue Alp's plastic waste to chemicals feedstock technology. Blue Alp's technology is already at commercial scale and will be licensed to other companies as we look to grow the global production of pyrolysis oil from plastic waste globally to industrial and profitable levels. Yeah, however, in processing a broad range of plastic waste products from a variety of sources using pyrolysis technology, you can get quite a variety of purity in the pyrolysis oil due to the contaminants in the original material that is pyrolyzed. And chemical crackers into which we will feed the pyrolysis oil have a limited tolerance for these variations. So we're tackling that part of the problem with our proprietary upgrading technology, which will enable us to process a greater volume of pyrolysis oil into our crackers and therefore directly back into chemical building blocks and plastics. I think it's also important to realise that circularity means addressing the whole plastic waste to chemicals value chain, and an important part of that is the collection and sorting of waste. And we need increased collaboration in the access and sourcing of the waste that aligns with the hierarchy of recycling, where we talked today. I just talked about chemical recycling, but we should prioritize mechanical recycling, and when this is not viable, we use advanced recycling technologies such as chemical. So I think the sooner that plastic waste is sorted, the better, and this calls for improved product design and the infrastructure for waste management, but it also calls for a change in user behaviour, as the more waste can be sorted at source, the better, and of course the correct regulatory environment to promote the stronger circular economy.
Yeah, definitely, I fully agree. I think it's very important to be able to address the whole picture from A to Z. Otherwise, if we only work in kind of blocks, we're not going to have that overall efficiency. And I think the more upstream you deal with things, I think it makes it easier for the downstream elements to process through. So it's great also to hear how technology will definitely help us along in this transition and help us solve a lot of these issues. So great to hear all these new developments. If we look at our industry as well, we know, working in the industry, we know that over the years our industry is always or continually looking to improve operations, whether that's in terms of performance, reliability, flexibility, efficiency. With that in mind, what do you believe are the decarbonisation low-hanging fruit and the incremental steps that are still available to the industry through efficiency improvements?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that's right. There's actually an awful lot we can do today. by making use of deploying technology that is available and proven today. So I can give sort of three examples. One is increased use of digitalization and data. The second is the electrification of drives, and the third is investing in heat and gas recovery systems to improve energy efficiency. I mean, starting with digitalization, I mean, it has a critical role to play, and innovation in digital tools and artificial intelligence is key to help us transition to the net zero future. And digital tools allow us to reduce the carbon footprint of our existing operations today. They also can help offer lower carbon energy solutions to our customers, and increasingly play a role in developing the next generation of technology. So an example of something from Shell is in the past few years, we've used data to develop solutions which optimize our industrial processes to improve energy efficiency. And we've shown that, for example, in one of our LNG facilities, through such optimization technologies, we could reduce the amount of CO2 emissions by 130 kilotons per year, the equivalent of taking 57,000 typical European vehicles off the road. In the area of electrification of drives, I mean, for a long time, steam turbines have served our industry very, very well as reliable and flexible machines. With today's technology, it's possible to deploy large and reliable and flexible speed shaft drives, that are electrically driven, and this opens a new dimension for us. And as the sort of energy system increasingly electrifies, and a large part of that is clean, then this is a route to decarbonisation too. And for example, at our Moerdijk chemical plant in the Netherlands, we replaced a steam turbine with a high-speed electric drive, and this project alone saved more than 13,000 tonnes of CO2 emissions per year. And it's just one of many examples where we can deploy such technology. And finally, we're investing in heat and gas recovery systems, hybrid boilers, new generations of catalysts to improve energy efficiency. And again, at Moerdijk, at the chemical plant, we will be installing 8 new furnaces to replace the 16 older ethylene steam cracker furnaces that we have. And through the advance in that technology and the integration, will deliver approximately a 10% reduction in Moerdijk's total annual emissions. So there's a lot we can do with existing technology today.
Thank you very much. Great to hear about those three examples. I think at the conference, I know we'll be discussing and looking how to make use of the digitalization tools that we have at our disposition, make full use of those to make our operations a lot more efficient, and also a lot more reduce the carbon footprint, as you mentioned. Also, moving on to the next point, in the lead up to the conference, we hold advisory meetings. This is part of the preparation for the conference to look at what our advisors are looking at, which key topics are of interest to them. And we held one a few months back for ESF Europe. And during that meeting, our advisors identified that one of the most difficult challenges for them relates to the legislation in Europe, whether it's developing consistently, whether there is the necessary support and guidance for our industry. So in your opinion, how can the industry be better supported by the regulators to help us succeed in this transition? And also, what would you like to see in the way of more consistent or more coherent policies?
Yeah, thanks. I mean, governments play a key role in designing the regulatory environment that can accelerate decarbonisation. And I think it's really important that the regulatory environment is in sync with industry. There needs to be sufficient tension there to drive improvement, but we also need to be careful that we avoid market distortions regarding energy or feedstocks. I think another key point to successfully achieve, the 55% reduction of emissions by 2030 is to really address this on a sectoral basis. I think, as you say, it's complicated, but by addressing it sectorally, then you have the opportunity to accelerate and synchronize sector by sector, and therefore balance both the demand of clean energy and the supply, the ability of the system to supply it, such that we continue to move forward, but we avoid those distortions, and also not just in terms of the clean energies, but also low carbon feedstocks, be they bio feedstocks or waste feedstocks, and we need the continued support of the ETS scheme, and also the carbon border adjustment mechanism to help move us forward. Also, coming back to plastic, we need that. It's important that chemical recycling is recognised in its role in achieving recycling targets, and in that regard, it is also important to recognise that it's not either or chemical or mechanical recycling. It's both, and respecting that hierarchy to achieve a strong circular economy. I think lastly in this area, it's important that carbon removal technologies that need to play a role gain acceptance, be they nature-based solutions, or carbon capture, usage and storage, so that they can scale up to the level required to balance the unavoidable emissions.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a really interesting point, a really important point regarding carbon capture. And I think the only way forward will be through more communication, more discussions, constructive discussions between all parties involved. So I hope we'll be able to achieve that. We have time for one final question. We sped through quite a lot of questions already, but looking ahead to the conference, I would like to ask, what are your hopes, and what do you hope the discussion from a conference like ESF Europe will help the industry achieve over the next 12 months or 12 to 18 months?
Yeah, I think conferences like ESF are great opportunities for collaboration, and much of what we talked about, I mean, it is an industry challenge, and I think conferences enable those opportunities to identify what are the areas where we can collaborate, so we can make a difference towards delivering a low carbon and more sustainable future. And it's only through meeting folks at conferences that you get the opportunity to explore areas that you may otherwise not. And again, I think the conference can play a role in collaborating such that chemical recycling receives recognition as being valuable and viable within that hierarchy of circularity. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Stephen. For me, it was a real pleasure to have the opportunity, the chance to talk with you today. Thanks for sharing your insight, expertise, experiences on all these key industry topics. I really look forward to continuing the discussion at ESF in a couple of weeks' time, in person finally, so that will be great. And until that time, please stay safe and stay well, and thank you once again.
Yeah, thanks, Stefan, and indeed looking forward to meeting in a couple of weeks' time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.